Hi everyone, my name's Christy. I'm a transition alignment and mindset coach, and I'm here today to tell you a little bit about my story, why I got into coaching, and something else. I didn't really plan this, so. Hi everyone, my name's Christy Ishii, and I'm a career transition, alignment, and mindset coach. And I'm here today to tell you a little bit more about my story and how I got into coaching and how you can work with a career coach. I grew up in Salinas, California, also known as the lettuce bowl of the world. It's where you get your veggies, your fruits, and everything across the US, basically. And after that, I moved to Los Angeles, and I went to school at UCLA for 4 years, where I studied American literature and culture and Asian American studies. After that, I made this move to Japan because I really wanted to discover my roots more, learn the Japanese language, and see if I could live in a foreign country. In 2016, I moved to Japan through the JET program, and I lived in Gunma Japan, Tatabashi City, where I taught English to a lot of junior high school students and really learned a lot about myself and what it meant to be an American. After 2 years of working in Gunma in the countryside in Japan, I moved to Tokyo, where I became a recruiter. So an agency recruiter is somebody who helps people find jobs, and I was working with bilingual candidates all across Tokyo and all across Japan. Everything was going really well in Tokyo. I was networking with a lot of people. Our community had grown from about 30 people to 500 for the nonprofit organization that I was organizing, and I was starting to actually do some workshops in Japanese and English, which was a huge milestone for me. But when COVID came across and everyone's schedules changed, everything went remote all of a sudden, and all the events got canceled, it really threw a little bit of a wrench in what I wanted to do in Japan. I was also one of those people who became redundant, especially in the recruitment and HR industry, where people weren't being hired and there wasn't really a need for recruiters because nobody was hiring at that time. I had gone through a lot of thoughts on my own. Should I go back to America? Should I stay in Japan? It's been 4 years. Family really wanted me to go back. And so I actually left Tokyo and I went to another prefecture with my partner at the time for about a month and a half before making the decision to come back to America on June 1st, 2020. So after 4 long years of living, working, and really just thriving in Tokyo, I ended up coming back to America. And that was a really, really hard decision for me. If anyone out there has lived abroad and been trying to learn the language and really make a name for yourself outside of America, you know how hard it is to then come back to your home country when you feel like you haven't really finished and accomplished all the things that you went out to do. So that's how I felt when I came back from Japan. It was a lot to process. It was not easy, and I honestly felt like my dreams were crushed during 2020. So on June 1st, I came back to the United States. I had no plan in sight. I didn't know what I was gonna do, and to be quite honest, I was really afraid of going home. Being, Asian American, or even just anyone in general, to come home at the age of 26, in my mind, without a job and without a plan ahead of me, felt really shameful in a way. I knew somehow in the future this was gonna make sense. I just didn't know at the time what that was gonna mean. When I came back to the United States, I was in quarantine for 2 weeks, and I really was not in a position to be job hunting or figuring out what I wanted to do. I was just trying to reconnect with my family, get reacclimatized to the United States. Even though things were a little bit different than when I had left, it was just really nice to go outdoors, go on walks, and spend some time being with family and friends. I reached out to folks from high school, from college, mentors, and past bosses and managers, just to say hello, ask how they've been doing, especially during times like COVID. And out of those conversations came 2 really big opportunities for me. One of them was when I was speaking with my good friend who I went to Japan with on this internship. He introduced me to an opportunity where I could teach Japanese university students about life at UCLA and about what life was like living in America. Another person that I reached out to was actually introduced to me through the community organization that I was working for, and she had just started her own translation business, and she was looking for somebody to create a website so that she could connect her business to some platform on the internet. I used to make websites through WordPress, Squarespace, and Wix when I was in college, so I just mentioned to her in our phone call, hey, I can make a website for you. What she said back to me was actually, oh, I'll hire you if you can make me a website. I had never made a website for any type of commission or salary before, but I was really ready for the challenge and I knew I could do it for her. So I said, yeah, sure. And she told me a price, I agreed upon it, and that's how I started making websites for people during the pandemic. I was just getting into the hang of things with the website design. Things were going really well and I was getting referrals, left and right, people wanting websites during the pandemic. Then all of a sudden, just kind of out of nowhere, there was a wildfire that broke out just less than a mile from our home. We had to evacuate our things and all of our belongings that were really precious to us. And it was a really emotional time, but luckily the fire did not reach our house. Once the fire was contained and we were able to bring our belongings back home, we still couldn't go outside. There was smoke everywhere. The skies were still orange most days. And it was just a really surreal about 2 weeks that I was at home, still trying to do these websites, but also just realizing how short life is and how quickly things can change, no matter how great or how awesome things are going. I had some time to chat with my mom and just really kind of share experiences. She told me, Christy, right now the skies are orange, there are a lot of things that are unknown about the pandemic, and if you need more time to stay at home, to figure out what you're gonna do, that's okay, you can stay here. So after this conversation that I had with my mom, I felt really safe being home, and I felt like I actually had so much more time to figure out what I wanted to do. And the moment that my mindset shifted on how much time I had to figure out my next steps, everything aligned, and I just really felt in my gut that something was telling me to start my own business. When I was in Japan as the president of JCL and also as a recruiter in Tokyo, one of the most exciting things about my job was listening to people's stories, helping them navigate what they really wanted to do, and fleshing out their passion so that we could set them up and introduce them to the best possible future employer. I realized that all those 4 years of working in Japan and coaching people through the recruitment process was really something that could help a lot of people, especially during COVID. And I wish that I had somebody like that to help me through the career discovery process, especially after repatriating back to America. So I thought, well, the best way to figure out if I'm going to set up a good coaching program would be to actually sign up for my own. And so that's when I connected with my first career coach. She was specifically helping people like myself who were going from 9 to 5 to starting their own business. It was a 3-month container. It was the first time investing in myself, and it was a really powerful experience for me to actually invest in my own personal growth. After working with my first one-on-one coach, we talked a lot about money mindset and shifting my perspective on how I speak to clients, how I'm offering rather than asking for money. And I realized this was a really good experience, but I also wanted to have a lot more of a concrete structure for programs so that I could help lead people through anything that they were going through, not just starting a business. So in October, I made this big decision to actually invest in a coaching certification program. It's a year-long program, and it was so transformational and changed my life and a lot of my other clients as well. I started full-time coaching January 2021, and I cannot tell you how fulfilled and aligned I feel in my career. Before, when I was doing English teaching in Japan, it always felt like it was kind of not really a job, but kind of a ambassador type of role. Then when I was in Tokyo, in recruitment, there's a little bit of a stigma around being a headhunter. And so although I really enjoyed the work that I did, there was always some type of hesitancy really telling people that I was a recruiter. But now in this role as a career transition, alignment, and mindset coach, I am so happy doing the work that I do, and I'm always super proud to tell people, this is my job and this is what I get to do. And literally what I do as a coach is just support people in following their dreams and really fleshing out what they want to do in their career. So thank you so much for listening to my story. I really appreciate all of you just taking the time to let me share with you what I went through the past couple years and what it took for me to get to this point of having my own business and being fully aligned in my career. So if you have any questions for me or want to learn more about my story, I'll put it down in the description below, and you can read kind of the full-fledged details of what actually happened during my first year after coming back to America. So if you're interested in following my journey and also learning some mindset hacks on how to get through your next career or life transition, hit the subscribe button below, and I'll see you in our next video. All right, take care everyone, bye.